What's up, nerds? Goz Master here with another magic puzzle quest. Today's quest, Zendikar Rising, rare reviews and reactions. Today I'm going to be going over the spoilers on the Facebook page of Magic Puzzle Quest and giving my raw thoughts and ideas and initial takeaways from the rare cards inside of this upcoming Zendikar Rising release set. So excited for the new cards. So many great mythics and masterpieces. If you missed that, check out my list below. There'll be a link to the previous video, or it might be suggested to you here. Check it out, watch it. A little bit longer in these videos, but it's because we're covering so many of these. I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as possible, but also give you my honest take and big takeaways. So yesterday, or in the previous video that I shot, we talked about shuffling the board. I just watched a live cast on Twitch by a buddy of mine named Steve, who I really adore his live streams. His reactions are priceless. You got to go check out his page. I'll put a link below to his Twitch feed. Check him out when you get a chance, but his reactions are hilarious. He's one of the OGs of Magic and Puzzle Quest. And one of the things he mentioned was shuffling the board. And he suggested, I was really excited about the shuffling the board mechanic. He actually brought up a doubt in my head now, which I wanted to share with you guys. The shuffle mechanic may not necessarily work the way I was thinking. I think that when it shuffles, it's going to cause new matches to cause cascades and landfalls for you just because of the shuffle. He suggests it's actually going to use the same mechanic as the no new matches shuffling the board when you have no more matches and it shuffles the board and doesn't create any more deals. And I hadn't considered that. So we have to wait and see. I hope, hey Octagon, if I have any influence whatsoever, which I don't, but if I were to be able to go in and walk into the boards, do not do that, make them cause cascades, that would make board shuffling worthwhile. If not, it's kind of meaningless. Except for the rare instance where Hixus, the thing that disables your creatures, is in a corner somewhere you can't reach to. Maybe that's helpful. Not that big a deal. Plenty of other cards and things you can do that'll nuke it. So I reserve my right to go back and cancel my excitement for that card as we go forward. All right, that's enough of that. Let's jump right into it. Archon of Emeria. And if one of you guys would do me a favor and time code when these are, you can put the minute. Like right now, the minute on this would be 2, or it would actually be more than this, but it would be about 2 minutes 40 seconds. So it'd be 0, 2, the colon, the 2 dots, and then 40. That creates a timestamp so that we can go through this. So if anybody's willing to do that, I'll give you a big shout out and a huge no prize in our next video. Appreciate that. I can do it myself, but appreciate it if you guys would do it. Okay, Archon of Emeria, 12 mana for a white flying 4/5 creature, Archon. When a player casts a card, disable each card in that player's hand until end of turn. Okay, no more combos. This is straight hate. While on the battlefield, planeswalkers and card effects can't convert gems unless they're lands, event rules, or resilient support. So this creature is straight, no more combos. You do one thing a turn, and that's it. When a player casts a card, disable each other card in that player's hand until end of turn. That includes yourself. Okay, this is great for new players. If you're a newer player and you're sick of getting destroyed in legacy play, like the trials of the planes, blue, red, yada yada, or whatever they are, this card would be a mainstay and would actually give you a shot at surviving. Yeah, so there's some Eldrazi cards that when they hit the board, they disable your creatures, they make your mana costs go up. So anything you have reactionary, like with flash, to be able to flash in and destroy a creature, yeah, those cards are disabled and rendered ineffective because of that, and that just throws your whole momentum off and the timing off, makes your rhythm stink. This card would keep them from being able to do anything else other than that, especially with like omniscience. So if as soon as an omniscience hits the board, they're going to go cast for the creatures or for the cards, for the spells, and that's where their loops start. This would kill it right away. They get to cast nothing else. Very powerful card. I think this is a chase card for medium to newer level players. Very important card in your game. I don't like playing reaction cards like this because then it stops me from being able to go off. But if you're, where this would really work would be Fires of Invention. If you're only going to play one card anyways, right, then Fires lets you play that card for free. So you can literally stack your hand really well, and then you're just in firm control for the rest of the game, as long as you're protecting this guy. So very interesting. I think this is a chase card for newer folks. So if you're newer or sick of just getting pummeled by some of the combo decks like Song in Standard or whatever else combo, or the green Nissa decks, man, I can't stand those. then this is going to be your new best friend, and white and any other color is going to be something you want to play. I would highly suggest white and red would be great. All right, moving on. Archpriest of Iona, 10 mana, okay, bravery and party, 0/4, human cleric. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature gets +2/+0 for each member of your party. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, if you have a full party, your first other creature gets +2/+2 and gains flying. Meh. That's all I'm going to say about it. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the mech cards. It all depends on if party becomes a real mechanic. This guy I'm actually excited about. Armament Master, 8 mana for 3/3. That's super Timmy, but the fact that he's got bravery for soldier, leader, soldier, or I'm sorry, not bravery, but leader. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, your core creatures get +X/+X until end of turn. X is the number of equipment cards you control ×2. I don't even care about the equipment stuff, but if you're running this in red, white, which is going to be solid with the soldier builds, and you've got Ember Cleave, you've got all these other, you know, what's the other equipment that you've got out there? The Shadow Spear. Those cards, the number of those, you're not going to play a lot of them. See, in Paper Magic, we can go run tokens and all kinds of different stuff because we got 60 cards to play with. We got 10 in PQ. So because of that, we can only do 1 or 2, maybe, supports that are equipments. Okay, so you're going to get +4. So X is the number of equipment cards you control ×2. So it'd be 4. Like if you have 2 on the board, you got 4. If it included those cards reinforcements or those cards shields, this would be an epic broken card. But it's a rare, so I understand. I don't even care about any of that. I care about leader, soldier. And core tokens, as I understand, are both going to be warriors and soldiers. So they'll count for both leader types. So if you got a leader for warriors, the core tokens will count. If you got a leader for soldiers, i.e. Armament Master, they're going to count. This card is going to be busted. I'm going to do all kinds of violent, vicious, dirty, down scoundrel things with it. I'm very excited for this card. This is a chase card strictly for the leader function. Go get her. So when you pull him, go do some terrible things with it. Volrath is a good one. There's another spell in here that actually powers up like Volrath, but it's a spell. Very excited. All right, moving on. Not a lot of rares we're going through here. Let's see. Zoom, zoom. All right, there we go. So Celestial Colonnade, 10 mana. I like it for 3 land support with 3 reinforcements. It's colorless. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to blue and 2 gems to white. Very good. Activate 1 2-turn activated gem. Your first creature gets +4/+4 and gains flying and vigilance until the beginning of your next turn. Not really concerned about that. I think these cards are gonna, in the rare section, are gonna be designed to take over the gates, which is unfortunate because they're not rares. Or gates were not rares. They were common and uncommons. I haven't gone through those yet to see if they've done it. I'm literally just looking at these for the first time. So my initial take on this is going to be good for a blue-white deck. You get both 2 gems, 2 blue, and 2 gems, 2 white. And if you run this with like Chromatic Orrery, that can help make that initial deal in the beginning go off, or to set up some starting off combustions that happen from gem matches. So I think this is good. Is it a chase card? We will have to see how the uncommons go, but so far I really like these. Like I would totally understand if these were the replacements. What would make these great is if they did some enters the battlefield effects. If they converted on enters the battlefield, then there's so many cards that allow you to bring cards into the battlefield and do conversion, or just bring land supports out for free. Amazing. That would have some huge effects. But yeah, okay, so you got to wait till the beginning of your next turn for it to blow up. Cool. Next. Oop, there's one. All right. Cenfounding Conundrum, 8 mana. I like the cost of all of these. 4 shield for a blue enchantment. Landfall blue, draw a card. So anytime you get some blue to happen, you draw a card. This with Urza, immediately. When your opponent matches 5 or more gems, your blue mana bonus is increased by 3 for 2 turns. Now, is that 2 of my turns? Is that their turn and then my turn, and then it goes back down? So I'm thinking it's the latter. I think it's finishing their turn and then my turn, and then when it goes back to them, my mana bonus drops. Each of these effects can trigger up to 2 times per turn. Okay, so this doesn't do anything but that. So when your opponent matches 5 or more gems, your blue mana bonus is increased by 3 for 2 turns. Each of these effects can trigger up to 2 times. So, all right, so we're playing, I don't know, whoever. So we get 6. Where this would matter is if we're playing against green conversion, like a Nissa deck, Worldwaker conversion deck. we're never going to take that secondary turn. As soon as they start going off and really start converting mana, we're done. I mean, that's all that's going to matter. Yeah, that said, though, you know what? Greg gets a lot of cascades and gets stupid landfalls. So we're getting +6 to our blue mana bonus. I mean, that's literally it. We have to have Urza on the board or something that's converting blue at the beginning, like all of these land conversion cards that really take advantage of that. Maybe that fills our hand, but that's only if we get to quote-unquote untap and take our next turn. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not thinking it's a chase card. I think it could be utility. And know that when we're talking about rares, most of these are going to be utility. They're not going to be broken. I think the last great broken card we've gotten was Quartzwood Crasher. That card's broken. I love that card. Coral Helm Chronicler. They like the enunciation. Coral Helm Chronicler. 10 mana, 4/4 blue Merfolk Wizard. When you drain mana from your hand for a kicker, okay, which there's going to be a lot of in this set, discard the last card without mana from your hand, then draw a card to gain 6 mana. That's kind of cool. It's not great, but it's kind of cool. When this creature enters the battlefield, fetch the first card with kicker from your library. Okay. So this is interesting. So when you drain mana from your hand and play kicker effect, discard last card without mana. Okay, this is one of those ones we have to wait and see where the synergy is. There's going to be a lot of cards here that we won't know how good they are until we find the synergy. And most of the rare cards aren't going to have broken written on it unless we see how well they fit. They're not going to be broken by themselves. They'll be broken as part of a combo. Coveted Prize, 15 mana blue for a spell card with party. While in your hand, this card costs 2 less to cast for each member of your party. Okay, so if you have 2 or even 3 creatures out, that's going to bring it down by 6. It brings it down to 9 to play. In black, pick one of the first 4 cards from your library, fetch that card. Then if you have a full party, the last card in your hand that costs 12 or less, gain full mana. Almost cool. It should just be, if you're going through all of that, to have so many cards on the board that you've set this action up, you're casting it for, let's say you've got, I think there's 4, Wizard, Rogue, Cleric, and I can't think of the other one. I think there's 4 of them. So if you have all 4 of them and some of the supports count as it, if you've done 4 or 5 or whatever it is, just give me any card that I pull for free, man. I mean, come on. Come on. That's not too difficult to think. So no, I mean, maybe if you've got like a really OP deck that's less than 12. No, I don't think that's very good. All right, Cragplate Baloth, 21 mana. That's expensive with a 7 kicker, so it's 28. Hexproof Hexproof and haste. 8/8 green beast. Okay, big. Can't have its mana drain erased. Okay, kicker 7. When this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +8/+8. All right, so you're talking straight Timmy here. So for 28. Really 21 and then -7 from your hand, you're getting a 16/16. Okay. I don't think that's great. I think the flash and the hexproof is probably more utilitarian than anything else. Green black's got a lot of reanimation, so this would be good in that, so that it can't be directly targeted. So that'll help you against your Bolas games. You might want to sideboard something like that in so they're not getting hit. So okay, it's neat. I see it. I don't think it's great, but it's okay. Creeping Tar Pit, 10 mana for a 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to black and 2 gems to blue. Okay, so it's another one of those. Activate 1/2 turn. Your creature gets +3/+2, gains unblockable until end of turn, then destroy the top 3 cards of your opponent's library. Meh. The gem conversion's what I'd play it for. The other thing is, okay, neat. Whatever. Moving on. Crypt of Agadim, 10 mana, 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to black. Now that's good, because it just does one thing. It just converts gems to black. Landfall black, the first black card in your hand gains X mana. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. This is a great card. This is awesome. Chase, if you're playing mono black or reanimator, this is a great card. The first black card in your hand gains X mana. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. You have Summon Call of the, what is it? Hold on. You have Gather the Pack. In green, you also have Otrami. And Otrami being mutated onto something would basically fill this graveyard up. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to black. Just that alone is great. I mean, just that alone is really good for 10 mana. Solid. For a 3 shield. And then when you add Landfall Black to the first black card in your hand gains X mana. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. This is really solid. Highly love this. Think this is a great card. Going to put a big heart on that bad boy. Definitely want that moving on. Whoops. All right, Desecrated Earth. 12 mana for a black spell card. Destroy an opposing land support. If you can't, destroy 8 non-black gems. Then your opponent discards a card and loses X life. X is the number of black gems. I really like this card. It's a little pricey, but what you're essentially doing is you're removing non-black gems from the board, so you're increasing your black gems. This would pair really well with the card we just looked at. Then your opponent discards a card and loses X life. X is the number of black gems. This will also be really good with the Spectre, that it gets double power. So in a mono-black deck, this might be something that's worthwhile. Or in a black-green deck, the new Nissa, they're really trying to beef her up, so she's worth getting. Or even Garruk or Vraska with her support destruction. She's going to be, I have a prediction, Vraska with her support destruction as her first ability is going to be really important in this new meta, because there's going to be a lot of land supports and a lot of vanguards and a lot of different things that are coming into play. So you heard it here first, folks. I think she's going to be an important planeswalker to go look out at again. So this one for 12 mana. This I would play based on the beginning of turn conversion from my gems. Filling this up, playing it for free essentially, destroying 8 non-black gems, causing a cascade to happen, and then causing more stuff to go over. And then it's going to work in a combo, because with this, it's going to they discard a card, they lose X life based on the number of black gems that are on the board, and that's going to allow me to be able to create a 5 swap that happens organically from it as well again. So very excited. I think this is a really good card. In fact, I'm going to give it a nice, good old-fashioned caring, because I think it's better than a like, but it's not quite a love until I play with it more and more. All right. Emeria, the Sky Ruin. 12 mana for a 3-shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to white, just strictly white, so it's great already. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, if there are 10 or more white gems, return the first creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield under your control. This is awesome. This is a great card. Reanimator in white. I love it. So you could play this with wow, you could play this in any deck, really, in any black-white deck or any Reanimator deck. I love this. I love that secondary ability. I think it's a great card. Absolutely a chase card. Vito would use this inside of Sorin Grim Nemesis's deck, or with Kaya. And yeah, solid card, man. I love that secondary ability. Not to mention the fact you're just converting to 1 color, 3 mana in the beginning. 12 mana is a little pricey. I'd rather it were 10, but hey, we're going to cheat it out. There's so many things that bring out land cards for free. We're not going to pay for lands, man. We're just going to go get them for free. All right, let's go. Enigma Thief, 20 mana for a 7/7. That's super Timmy. Flying, Sphinx Rogue. When a rogue, it's blue. When a rogue creature you control attacks, if this card is in your hand, it gains 4 mana. Okay, so that's good in a rogue's deck. When this creature enters the battlefield, if your opponent has 5 or less cards in hand, return target opposing creature to your opponent's hand, then repeat this process for an opposing non-land support. Okay, so I don't like bounce that has to have room in the hand, because I want to destroy it and I want them to discard a card if I can. Yeah. However, if their hand is empty and they got room for 2 things, then that works. And that's the problem, is that they have 5 or less cards in hand. So if they have 4 in hand, the first trigger will work. And then they get the 5th card because the creature's in their hand, then the second half of this doesn't work. So, okay. Not to mention the fact, he's a 7/7 body. I don't want him in my hand. I want him on the board taking chunks of life out of my opponent. So I'm not trying to wait to play. This would be a very situational play. It would have to happen while that thing's on the board. I mean, rarely I might strategically hold it. I kind of like it, but I don't think it's broken. With the expense too, would I play this over like what's the bird, the Stormwing Entity. Now I know that's a mythic card versus a rare, but you know, this might be a nice temporary for that. But if you have the choice between the two, you're playing Stormwing. Stormwing's way better than this card. But anyways, I digress. Moving on. All right. Felidar Retreat. CGB just made a video about this with a control deck. I love control decks. So 10 mana for a white 4-shield enchantment. Landfall white, create a cat beast token. When you match 5 or more white gems, your creatures get +2/+2 and gain vigilance. That's a permanent +2/+2, so that's kind of neat. This is neat in paper Magic. I think this is going to be too slow in regular Magic. I've loved this already. I don't know why. I actually just think it's okay. So we'll see. I don't know. I'd have to play this. Like, I would play this in a Knight of the White Orchid build and use that. And see, we don't have some of the cards to make the combo go off for like Court of Calling. We don't have anymore. That's rotating out. So we're going to have to figure out how we can go get creatures and make this happen on an ongoing basis. But if we can break it somehow to where we can loop it, then this would be a chase card. But as it sits right now, it could be decent. We'll see. All right. Geode Rager. 15 mana for a first strike. Red 6/5 elemental. Landfall. Each opposing creature gains Berserk until the beginning of your next turn. That's kind of cool. As long as their creatures aren't big, you give them the ability to smash up against you. Where this would really work is if you have a Brash Taunter on the board. You give the creatures them a Berserker. They beat up against Brash Taunter. This would be fun to play in that. So I actually like this. Is it a chase card on its own? No, it would have to be something specific. Low creature tokens or something of that nature that keeps their power low so that it doesn't just or their defense low, so that you're not just getting this guy killed right away. So I don't know. Interesting. It would be fun with a Brash Taunter build though. All right. Gigantiform. I like the name. 20 mana. I don't like the cost. Green. The base power and toughness of target non-token creature you control becomes 8/8. That creature gains Berserker and Trample. Okay, that's permanent. This is the one I was talking about. So Gigantiform is expensive. It's less than Volrath, though, right? So, yeah, Volrath's 21. This is only 20, but it's got a 4 kicker. Kicker 4, that creature gains Enchanted. When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's Planeswalker, fetch the first aura card from your library. Don't give it any mana. You just can go fetch it. Interesting. I don't know that I would need the kicker or want the kicker. It would really depend on the other auras that I have in my build. Maybe, like, Insight, so that we can go gain life and draw a card. I don't know. This though I love. I think this is an absolute great card. I'm really excited to play with this. I think this is going to be really epic in a green-black build, especially if we're playing. This gives us an alternative to Volrath if we're playing a white-green or a blue-white-green like with Tameo, and we want to go take soldiers and make them ridiculous. Base power and toughness of target non-token creature you control becomes 8/8. Berserk and Trample. I'm going to break this card. It's going to be great inside of a leader deck. Excited to play with it. All right. Glasspool Mimic, 9 mana for a land forming 1/1 Shapeshifter Rogue. Okay. A blue. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature's power and toughness becomes X and Y. X and Y are equal to another target creature's power and toughness. Land forming, create a Glasspool Shore token. I'm excited to see what these tokens do. I don't know what they're going to do. I've already loved this one. I don't remember looking at this, but I like the idea of this card. I like the idea of going through and having this be matching something that I already have on the board. Or if I'm facing off somebody who's got something big and I can target them, then this becomes something that's neat. I don't know if I love this, though. I think I'm going to say caring. I think it's between like and love. We'll see. Is it broken? I think this is, if you're newer to a medium-sized player, this could be a lot of fun in your build, especially if it's mimicking other cards that you don't quite have yet in your collection. All right. Goblin, don't do that. Goblin Bushwhacker, 7 mana, 6 kicker, 3/3, Goblin Warrior. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature gains haste and menace until end of turn. Okay, cool, because we don't need haste after the first turn. Kicker 6, your creatures get +6/+6 until end of turn. X is equal to their own reinforcements. If you're playing a token build, maybe that matters. Yeah, maybe that matters. You're essentially doubling their power if they're 1/1 weenie stacks, or if they're 2/2 weenie stacks, you're adding half again their strength. Okay, that's interesting. It can have some play. I'm not really excited about it. Goblin Guide, 6 mana. He's got leader. Oh boy, Goblin leaders, yes. Bravery, haste, 2/2, Goblin Scout, leader Goblin. When this creature attacks, shuffle the board, then destroy 3 gems of each opponent's land support, gain 1 shield. When this creature attacks, shuffle the board, then destroy 3 gems of each opponent's land support. Wow. Wait, then destroy 3 gems, and each opponent's land support gains 1 shield. Okay. So when this creature attacks, shuffle the board, then destroy 3 gems, then you get all the mana bonuses. This is a bad tail little card. I love him. Yeah, I love him. He's going to be broken. There are so many cards that do Goblin tokens. This is going to get big right away. Plus, if you're running red-green, you run this with, you run it in Samet, right? and then you use the card, the Gigantiform or whatever it was, and you make this guy's base power 8/8. So every time he's getting stacked up, he's adding another 8/8. This is awesome. I love this card. He's going to be totally broken. I can't wait for that. Goblin Guide's great. That's a mythic. All right, Grappling Hook. 16 mana. It's a artifact equipment. 3 shield. Support card. Colorless. While on the board, your first creature gains double strike. That's really good. When your first creature attacks, target opposing creature gains Defender until end of turn. When your first creature attacks, target opposing creature gains Defender until end of turn. So they have to block, but you get, so this is literally a board control. I really like this. I think this is going to be really, really good. This is like a poor person's version of Embercleave. Yeah, I really like this. I really, really like this. Good job, man. Good solid card. 7 mana, that's common. It's the wrong one. All right, so Hagramalling, 10 mana land forming spell card. While in your hand, if your opponent controls a land support, this card cost is reduced by 3, just 1. Destroy target creature your opponent controls. Okay, so you're going to pay 7 typically to 10. Land forming, create a Hagra Brood Pit token. Be nice to know what that is. I'm assuming based on the Brood Pit, it's probably going to create some creatures. Neat. I kind of dig that. I think that's going to be really, really good. Good removal. Black's always good with removal. I like it. It'll be fun. Next, Inscription of Abundance. 7 mana with a 5 kicker and flash. Green spell card. Target creature you control gets +3/+3. Then you gain life equal to that creature's power. Kicker 5. Then that creature gets an additional +3/+3 and fights the first opposing creature. Okay, so you're talking about adding 6 to it and then fighting another creature with flash. If you do it on your turn or on their turn, maybe you keep something from coming at you. Meh. I don't know why I love that card. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's just okay. All right, moving on. Inscription of Insight. 7 mana, 8 kicker, spell card. Each player returns their first creature to their owner's hand. That means my card too. Kicker 8, draw 2 cards, then create an illusionary insight token. I'm assuming it's going to be like a 2/2 flyer or something like that. It's a bounce card for 7. If you're playing creatureless, it's fine. But it affects you too, so it steals some of your board presence. So it's not as good as some of the bounce we have now, and that it's a rare. I mean, there's better uncommon and commons in meta right now, or in standard right now, that don't need to do any of this craziness. So, yeah, I mean, if this is what we're going to have to get, like this is what Teferi Master of Time is going to have to play, fine. I'm just not excited of it taking one of my creatures off the board for it and giving me an illusionary token. I don't really care about that. So, yeah, I don't think I'd be playing the kicker at all on this. The kicker's kind of meaningless because if you're playing a deck that does this in the first place, you're probably already going to have a ton of draw. Maybe, well, you'd have to have the cards in hand to be able to pull the 8 mana anyways. Yeah, I could just like it. It's just okay. Inscription of Ruin, 8 mana with a 7 kicker, black spell card. Destroy the first opposing creature with base cost 11 or less. Hate that. Kicker 7, your opponent discards 2 cards, then return the first creature that costs 8 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That I like. So you're talking about 15 to maybe destroy a creature. So what's going to stink here is if they don't have a creature that's 11 or less, does the rest of the abilities trigger? And if it doesn't, then we have to wait till he's got a creature that has 11 or less on the board, and then that keeps us from being able to play this card. However, if we don't need to have a creature on their side of the board at all in order to play the kicker ability for 18 or 15, your opponent discards 2 cards, then return the first creature that costs 8 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, no, never mind. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's kind of lame. Okay, moving on. If it were any creature size, you got to jump through so many hoops with that, and you don't get anything. Kargan Intimidator, 11 mana for a 5/3, trample, and bravery. You got a human warrior. When a warrior creature you control attacks, each creature gains can't block until the end of turn. When this creature attacks, if you control 2 or more warriors, this creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Then if you control 3 or more warriors, each opposing creature gains the coward subtype until end of turn. Then if your opponent controls 3 or more cowards, this creature gains double strike until the end of turn. That's a lot of text for a lot of little. So then that makes this guy a 10, he's swinging for 10 damage, double strike, 5/3. Okay, so you're playing warrior tribal. So you got the call tokens, or the crawl tokens. Maybe it works, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to see. I just don't see this taking the place of like a Subira or something like that. I think a Subira does a better job than something like this. Okay, moving on. Next rare is Kazandu Mammoth, 15 mana, land forming, 5/5 elephant, landfall. This creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn. No limits. Green with no limits to the impact that the card's going to have. Broken. Immediately broken. Just know that, okay? If there is no limit to the amount of times landfall can trigger for them and it does something stupid like this, this becomes yet another tool for Nissa to use to just devastate your face. This will be broken. Landforming, create Kazdu Valley token. I'm assuming that's something that creates green mana for you at the beginning of your turn. I'm not sure what those tokens are going to do. We have to see it. But for 15, for this big of a creature, what is 15 mana for a deck that can unlimited draw and put cards on the board? God, that's stupid good. That's just a really powerful card. So if you don't have Verdance the green card that does all the damage, Leafkin Avenger. If you don't have Leafkin Avenger, this card can do the same thing except that it's swinging. And the best part is, he's not done doing the landfall stuff at the end of turn. That +5/+5 ability doesn't go away. Ridiculous. That's a really powerful card. It will be broken in whatever deck that's in there. All right, moving on. And there's so many good cards in this set, man. All right, so Lava Claw Reaches, 10 mana for a 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to black and 2 gems to red. Okay. Activate 1/2 turn. Your first creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Then that creature gets +X/+O until end of turn. X is your black and red mana bonus, whichever is higher. Okay, that can have some play. Sure, black and red. Whoever gets that, that's decent. Legion Angel, 14 mana for a leader, flying 6/5 Angel Warrior, leader Angel. Okay, I haven't seen any Angel token. Actually, there is one card that creates 2 Angel tokens, so I'm going to be excited to see what Angel token stuff we get. In Legacy, we're going to break this card all day long, but in Standard, I'm not sure. When this creature enters the battlefield, another target non-token creature you control gets +4/+4 against flying and gains the Angel and Warrior subtypes. Not until end of turn. This is a great card. I love it. I love Leader. It's such an easy... With the way we get creatures on the board, Leader is an important rule for us to be able to maximize more creatures or tokens than just having, oh, we don't have enough spots for tokens. Leader is an important function for that. This is a breakable card, absolutely chase-worthy. Wow, 14 for a 6/5 all by itself. A flying 6/5 all by itself. Solid. I don't even need to bump this creature. Every angel it gets is just going to get bigger and bigger. Ridiculous. Powerful. Awesome. That's a good card, man. All right. Lotus Cobra, 9 mana. Oh, by the way, they just banned Omnath from Arena and from Paper Magic. Crazy. This card didn't get banned. Let's see what it's got. 4/3 creature snake, landfall. Your mana bonus and the color of the landfall is increased by 1 until the beginning of your next turn. This effect can trigger up to 3 times per turn for each color. Steve brought up an interesting point about this. He says, wait a minute. So I'm going to landfall. Your mana bonus in that color of the landfall is increased by 1 until the beginning of your next turn. If you're running a combo deck that's just crushing gems, fine. He says, but this effect can trigger up to 3 times. So you get 3 mana bonuses. If your mana color, whatever it is, it'll help in off colors too. So it's not just limited to your colors. It's any color. So you can get +3 to when you had -2 and you get a +1. It's kind of a waste, right? But that's not the point he made that I thought was really interesting. Your mana bonuses in this color and landfall is increased by 1 until the beginning of your next turn. So as soon as it's your turn on the next turn, you get no stackability from it. It immediately goes away. Damn. That took a card that would otherwise be great and made it okay, maybe? And to take a slot in your card set for that, I actually don't think this is going to be any good outside of a green conversion deck. And then what is it going to take? I would rather have landfall for 1+ mana bonus, or I would rather have that elephant that gets +5/+5 for the rest of the game for every landfall I get. Yeah, this guy doesn't even play. So, not a good card. I don't think this card is going to matter in the next meta set. Not when you can have 5/5+. Luminarch Aspirant, 10 mana for a 3/3 human cleric. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+2. It's a permanent +2/+2. So that makes it okay for starters, but no, I master it and move on. All right, Maddening Cacophony. I love that word. 6 mana, 10 kicker. Spell card. Destroy the top 8 cards of your opponent's library. Okay? Okay, kicker 10, destroy the top 8 additional cards of your opponent's library, then gain X loyalty. X is the number of spell cards in your opponent's graveyard. Maybe. I kind of like it. It might have some, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Magmatic Chandler, 13 mana for a 3/5 human wizard red. As long as there are 4 more spell cards in your graveyard, that's something I can control, this creature gets +3/+1. Okay, so he becomes a 6/6. Pretty nice. Wizardry. This creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. All right, so it's like prowess plus wizard, so think of it like prowess. So it's got a lot of reoccurring stuff. So like an Ajaya deck that plays a lot of spells, she could actually get pretty beefy. This is a Stormwing Entity answer in red. When this creature attacks, you may discard the last card in your hand. If you do, draw 2 additional cards. Okay. Yeah, she's a solid little card. Nice little Timmy card for 13 mana. You have, in the right time in your deck, she's going to be a 6/6, and with the ability to get +1/+1 until the end of turn for every spell that you're casting, and it's easy to go off with Jaya and some of her abilities. So yeah, I think this is a solid little card, good for newer to mid-level players. That's who I'd go after that for. Magasi the Water Veil, 10 mana for a 3 support land, colorless. At the beginning of your turn, convert your 3 gems to blue. That's solid, it's good right there. It's all I need right there, it's good. When the support gem is matched, reinforce the support, makes it stronger. When your opponent makes their first match during their turn, if this support is reinforced, your opponent gains an extra swap. That sucks buttermilk. Why would I want to give them that? That took everything we just did and made it worthless. When you make your first match during your turn, if this support is reinforced, 1 or more times it loses all of its reinforcements and you gain an extra swap. When your opponent makes their first match during... Okay, let's start over here. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to blue. Love it. When the support's gem is matched, reinforce this support. Okay, so it's not reinforced yet unless you match it. It's when this support's gem is matched. So that includes them. So if they match it, they get the reinforcement right away. They get the swap right away. When your opponent makes their first match during their turn, if the support is reinforced, your opponent gains an extra swap. I guess not. I guess it would get matched. That would already count as their first swap. It then would get reinforced and then would go to us. Maybe. When you make your first match during your turn, if this support is reinforced 1 or more times, it loses all of its reinforcements, then you gain an extra swap. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say it's worth playing, but I'm curious. I'm more curious to see what goes on with it. The 3 gem swap in the beginning, or the 3 gem conversion, is good. And I like that. So we'll just put a pin in that and see what actual play is going to look like. Okay, Master of the Winds. 11 mana for a flying 3/6 blue Sphinx Wizard. When this creature enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. Okay, I like that. There's a lot of room for discard in the game right now. Wizardry. You may switch this creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Meh. Okay. Not impressed. Let's see. Mind Sludge, 12 mana for a black spell card, trap, 4 black. Don't like the trap function. Your opponent discards a card. Okay, this will go into a deck build that I'll try, which is with Draz Spectre, and its point is to get as many cards out of their hand as possible. But if it's 4 black and they're not playing black, they're not going to try to match black, and it doesn't matter. So I don't usually like the trap function. I don't think it's a very useful deal. Mold Shambler, 11 mana, 5/5 with a 4 kicker, green fungus beast. It's kind of gross. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy an opponent's non-land support. This effect can affect Vanguard supports. Kicker 4, destroy the next 3 non-land supports from your opponent's library. Okay, this is more sideboardy. I could see using this against events, like PvE events, where you're trying to face the event itself. And one of them has a lot of supports that are non-land that really mess you up. So, okay. But other than that, I'm not really impressed with it. Very situational for that card. Okay, Nahiri's Lithoforming. 7 mana with 6 stored mana. Spell card. The mana bonuses in your Planeswalker's colors are reduced by X until end of turn. Okay, the mana bonuses in your Planeswalker's colors are reduced by X until end of turn. Then drop to X cards and destroy X times 3 gems of other colors that are not your Planeswalkers. X is this card's stored mana. So you have 6 mana here. you reduce your mana bonus by 6. Okay, so if I'm getting +4, I'm actually down to -2. Okay, then drop to X cards, which is, and destroy X times 3 gems of other colors that are not your planeswalkers. X is the card stored mana. So you're going to draw 6 cards, and you're going to destroy 18 non-red gems. And actually, their gems, if they're on the board. If they don't have them, so if you're playing like a mono walker, like a Nissa, or even a 2 colors walker, there's a lot of times where you'll run into not having enough of their gems on the board to do any matches. And what really stinks is most mono-colored walkers now have just as much, like Nissa, for example, or Luca, or Garruk Unleashed. They get just as much of a mana bonus in their off colors as they do their main color. So they're like dual color walkers. They just have a limited card pool to 1 card. I don't know about this one. I don't know if this is good, because you're losing all of the advantage you'd have to your color bonus. Yeah, I don't know that I like this card. We'll have to see it and play it and see. Let's see. Nighthawk Scavenger. 10 mana, lifelink flying, death touch, 3/5 vampire rogue. At the beginning of your turn, this creature's power becomes XX. X. X is 3 plus the number of different creature cards in your graveyard. Okay, maybe this could stack. Maybe this could do some good stuff. It's a Timmy card, so I like it. So it's good for mid to low level players, or just getting started collections. I don't mean that derogatorily. I mean that you're just getting started and your collection may be getting started or mid-level. So that could be a fun card to play and master. Nimble Trapfinder, 8 mana with Scar on your face, bro, says you didn't do a very good job. He's got party 4/3 blue human rogue. As long as there are 2 or more members in your party, this creature gains unblockable. Okay. When a creature you control deals combat damage, if you have a full party, draw a card. That's lame, man. Staggering Insight, I can just go get for what, 8 mana or something like that. I get one creature gets that, plus I gain lifelink. Stupid card. Nowhere. I mean, this is awful. This is bad. That's just awful. Terrible card. If I'm wrong, tell me. Null Priest of Oblivion, 8 mana, 8 stored, menace, lifelink, 4/3 vampire cleric, kicker 8. When this creature enters the battlefield, pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your graveyard, return it to the battlefield under your control. That's great. That's great. So for 16 mana, I'm getting this creature on the board, or I'm sorry, I can't think of it that way. I'm used to stored mana where you store a card up and then you go do it. This literally is, you have to think of it as I'm playing it for 8 and then I'm taking a card in my hand and I'm taking 8 mana away from it. You have to think of it that way because that's going to impact how you play. I think this is a great card. Now, as I sit here and think about it, is this better than some of the black return cards in Standard right now? So is this better than Escape from the Underworld, or what is the other one called? Just looked it up right here. Or Unbreakable Bond, that's what I'm thinking of. Unbreakable Bond. Look, for 8 mana, return the first creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains a lifelink. That's really solid. So for 8 mana, I can actually get Unbreakable Bond, so that's actually better than this. So pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your graveyard. At least this one, we get the option of choosing what cards in our graveyard, return to the battlefield under your control. So it gives us a little more selection. So I'm going to change my view from love it from chase to it's a playable card. Is it better than the other? Because you got to think you're taking mana from a card that's in your hand. So unless that creature that you're bringing from the graveyard can cause more of a cascade to happen to go fill that card up, either way, you're taking 8 mana from yourself. But you get another 4/3 body. I don't know. I think I would rather play the spell. So yeah, not a fan of that card now that I give it some thought. All right, so let's see. Undo Inversion. 20 mana, land forming, it's expensive. White spell card, destroy all creatures, destroy all non-land supports. This effect can affect vanguards. Land forming, create an undo sky ruin token. Okay, so not better than Ruinous Ultimatum, but good for white if you're playing mono white. So I like that. Is it a chase card? It's up there. Is it better than Shatter the Sky or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. It can take out Vanguard, so there's that. Okay, so it's good. Oran Reef Ooze, 12 mana. What is that? Legend or Bravery, 4/4 ooze. When this creature enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +2/+2. When this creature attacks, your buff creatures get +1/+1. Okay. It can stack. It'll do some fun things for newer players. Our newer collections. Pennon Blade, 10 mana, 3. It's an equipment. It's 3 shield artifact equipment. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, your first creature gets +X/+X until the end of turn. X is the number of creatures and creature reinforcements you control up to 18. That's solid. That's going to be really good in a leader deck, because you're going to have so many tokens and reinforcements. They're going to get an additional plus on top of that. Will it be needed? I don't know, but will it have synergy? I think so, and I think because of that, it's worth getting. So if you get this and some leaders, pretty exciting stuff. Quest for the Goblin Lord. I love the name. 6 mana. That's really awesome artwork, man. 1 shield, support card enchantment. When a goblin creature enters the battlefield under your control, reinforces support. Love. That's all I need to know. Just do anything that doesn't suck from here on forward, and I'm going to love this card. As long as the support is reinforced 5 or more times, your goblin creatures get +4. Oh, I love it. As long as this support is reinforced 12 or more times, your goblin creatures get +4. This is... Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Goblins are back. This is going to be such a sick card. I can't wait to build a goblin deck. Goblin Goliath is going to get just wrecked. I'm going to play a mono red. We play mono red. Always play mono red, and we're going to go out and crush people with some goblins. This is going to be so much fun to break. I can't wait to do this. Exciting stuff. That's really awesome. Raging Ravine, 10 mana, 3 shield, land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to green, 2 gems to red. Okay, so it's Samet's colors. Activate 1/2 turn. Your first creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn. Then that creature gets +2/+2. That's good. This is a solid little card. It's a good for a red-green build. Anybody that's running that color scheme is going to do well with this. I think it's a solid addition to their land base. Realms Uncharted. 7 mana spell, flash with 4 kicker, spell card for green. Pick 2 of the first 4 land cards or cards with land farming from your library. Fetch those cards, then destroy the others. Good. Kicker 4, convert 6 gems to your planeswalker's colors. That's pretty good. I don't even know about the first ability. I'd like to do that on the, just, give me a card that costs 4 mana and allow me just to do the second part. And I think that's good. But again, only with mono or dual color walkers. That doesn't work for green or for tricolor walkers. So, okay, that's interesting. I dig it. Relic Robber, 8 mana, party, 3 shield for a Goblin Rogue. It's a support card, and it's a Goblin, and it's a Rogue. So this is where we're talking about parties and supports that actually fill out your party blend. So this is the only way, because they couldn't give us more creatures to play with. When a rogue creature you control deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, create a Goblin Construct token under your opponent's control. At the beginning of each combat, your first creature gets +2 and 0 and gains unblockable until end of turn. Then it gains the Rogue subtype. When a rogue creature you control deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, create a Goblin Construct token under your opponent's control. So this would be only playable if you're playing an objectives that destroy your opponent's creatures. I don't like giving my opponent creatures unless they're playing, like it's a PvE event, or I'm playing something where I know, like a specific build in Legacy. If I'm playing against Bolas, I'm probably going to be playing against, what's it called, a Combustible Gear Hulk and an Omniscience deck. So if I have a creature on the board that keeps them from getting their third creatures on the board, or if I'm playing against a Nissa deck, and I know that it's going to be Eidolon of Blossoms, and it's going to be Leafkin Avenger, and then some other ridiculous third-party card like the Elephant we were looking at before. If I have this creature on their side of the board, they get a creature that is +2 Goblin Construct. So I'm assuming it's going to be a 2/2 or a 1/2, something like that. At the beginning of each combat, your first creature gets +2/+0 and gains unblockable until end of turn. Then it gains the Rogue subtype. So, okay, this will help for our objectives, but I think this is going to be really limited in play. I just don't like doing that. I don't like it. I'm sure someone's going to break it and think it's fantastic, but it's just not my cup of tea. Whoops. Rolling Vortex, 11 mana, support card, enchantment, 4 shield. At the beginning of each player's turn, deal 2 damage to that player. Okay. When a card a player controls gains mana from a source that is not from a match, deal 11 damage to that player. While on the board, your opponent can't gain life. This is hilarity. This is sideboard shenanigans. While on the board, your opponent can't gain life. This is just, hey, Nissa, what you doing? No, you're not. No, you're not. When a player controls gains mana from a source that is not from a match, deal 11 damage to that player. So does that, where would you get the mana from? Because the only thing that would happen is gem conversions count as matches, don't they? Or is that, it should say a swap. If it said swap, maybe it would go, we got to play with this. We got to test this. This could be a Nissa killer, and anytime you're facing Nissa or, I'm trying to think of what else gives full mana. I guess any combo deck, yeah, if you're playing Omniscience. Yeah, if you're playing against Omniscience, oh my gosh, could be a breaker, dude. Like this is, I kind of dig this. I kind of want to go play with that. That'll be fun. Oh my gosh, that's going to be brutal, man. Too fun. Okay, Scute Swarm. Scute Swarm. 8 mana, green, 2/2, insect. When you match 5 or more green gems, reinforce this creature 2 times. Landfall green, create X insect tokens. X is this number of this creature's reinforcements. Along with Scute Mob, 6 mana, leader, 3/3, insect. It's got leader, insect. So these 2 cards combined are going to be busted, okay? So move over Leafkin Avenger, and you put these cards together with that same engine as Eidolon of Blossoms, and you've got yourself just a ridiculous combo. This is going to be so broken. I don't like token. I don't like, let me rephrase. We'll see. We'll see. This is a good card. These 2 right here are chase cards together. They're going to do evil, ugly, nasty, dirty girl things. It's just going to be bad. All right, so here we go. Shadow's Verdict, 14 mana, black card, spell, exile all creatures and Vanguard supports with base mana cost 11 or less from play and from all graveyards. Nope, that's a crap card. Shatterskull Charger, 9 mana with a 5 kicker, trample, haste, 6/5 for 9 mana. Kicker 5, when this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+1. At the end of your turn, if this creature is not buffed, shuffle the board and return this creature to your hand. I like it. I like it a lot. So you're really talking about a 14 for a 6/5 with haste. So it's a 7/6. Come on, that's pretty good. Or if you do anything that buffs creatures right away, you get to play it for 9 and then just gets the +1. I think this is a really good card. This is going to be a solid mid-level collection deck card. I dig it. I think that's solid. Skyclave Apparition, 9 mana, 4/4, Core Spirit. When this creature enters the battlefield, exile target opposing creature that costs 11 or less. Getting sick of those guys. Come on, man. When this creature dies or is exiled from the battlefield, create an illusionary insight token under your opponent's control. Lame. I don't like it. 9 mana for a 4/4 is decent, but spirits should be able to fly. If it had that, it'd be a little bit better. It just isn't. There's other things I'd rather be doing with my mana and my board presence than something like that. Skyclave Shade, 10 mana. It also has Buried 10, so you can play it from your graveyard. 6 kicker. It's 5/3 black shade creature. This creature can't block. Don't need it to. Kicker 6. When this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2. You know what's interesting? Octagon, none of our creatures can block. Unless they have Vigilance or Defender, you don't need to put that on there. That doesn't do anything. Kicker 6. When this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2. Unless you're going to give us the option to block. Landfall black. If this card is in your graveyard, the first card named Skyclave Shade in your graveyard gains 5 mana. Okay. So this is a reoccurring creature. It's functional. I'd master it, but I probably wouldn't play it much more after that. Fun. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever play the kicker. I don't think I need it. All right, anyways, moving on. Skyclave, nope. All right, Soul Shatter. 8 mana for a black spell card. Looks like a removal. Destroy the opposing Vanguard support with the highest base mana cost. If you can't, destroy the opposing creature with the highest base mana cost. That's solid. Solid little removal right there. That's really good. It takes out Vanguards first, and it looks like Vanguards are going to be in play this time. There are 2 or 3 really good Vanguards that I've seen that I really like and I think are going to be board presence, especially in red and blue. So this will have some function. I think this is really great. Sphinx of the Lost Truth, 13, 3/5, Sphinx. When this creature enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, kicker 5. Then this creature gets +X/+X. X is the number of cards in your hand. Okay. So when this creature enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. That's solid for 13. Play the kicker, so you're at 18. And then you've got 6 cards in your hand, let's say. Then it becomes a 9/11. Okay. Okay, that's a solid Timmy card. I could see somebody playing that, and again, it's like a Nightwing or Entity or whatever it is, Stormwing Entity. Yeah, okay, that's a decent card. I certainly understand what it is. Squad Commander. All right, looks like not a leader. 15 mana, 5/5, party, core warrior. Warrior is the other subtype. When this creature enters the battlefield, create X core ally tokens. X is the number of members in your party times 2. I like the times 2 thing. So far, the only thing in party I've seen that has times 2 is worthwhile. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, your creature gets +1/+1 and gain prevent damage until end of turn, and your supports gain 1 shield and you gain resilient until end of turn. That's a lot of text. Beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, creatures get +1. Nope. Anything that says full party, just immediately I discount. Stirring Wildwood, 10 mana for a 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert gems green and white, 2 of each. And is a big key word there. Activate 1/2 turn. Your first creature gets +3/+4 and gains reach and trample until the beginning of your next turn. Decent little converter. I like it. I think those should be uncommons. I don't think those should be rare. There's only one so far I've seen that does anything rare worthy. Summoner's Bane, 9 manas, blue spell card. Drain X mana from your opponent's hand. X is the number of blue gems. Then if you drain 10 or more mana from your opponent's hand, create an illusionary insight token. Otherwise, create an illusionary token. Nah. Depends on what an illusionary insight token is and whether or not it synergizes with the rest of your deck. Doesn't matter. Swarm Shambler, 10 mana for a 2/2 fungus beast. When this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2. When a buffed creature you control becomes the target of a spell your opponent controls, create 4 insect tokens. That would work well with Scute Swarm. And then you would just want to buff your creatures up to get that done. Activate 3, the first creature gets +1. This creature gets +1/+1. Okay. I can see some synergy there. I think it would be like if you got this and not that, you would use this instead of the other Scute Swarm, whatever it is, if this is all you have. And then you would go from there. But, you know, it is what it is. Synchronized Spellcraft, 8 mana. That's not rare. This is. Tabarak's Hope's Demise. I love that name. 11 mana for a flying legendary 5/5 black demon cleric. It's a cleric. As long as this creature's power is 12 or greater, it gains lifelink. Okay? When a non-token creature you control dies or loses reinforcements, this creature gets +1/+1. Then if that creature is a cleric, you draw a card and your opponent loses 3 life. What's the card? All right, so we've got Karavik, the Spiteful, out, and he's giving his -2/-2 to stuff, and we can get some cleric tokens on board somehow. When a non-token creature you control dies, well, it's got to be non-token, so never mind, that doesn't work. Loses a reinforcement, this creature gets +1/+1. Then if that creature is a cleric, you draw a card, and your opponent loses 3 life. Yeah, no, it's. I'd have to see where the combo is. Maybe we could do some digging. I kind of like it. It looks like it has some synergy, but I don't know what it is yet. Tajuru Paragon, 10 mana, 3 shield, 6 kicker, support card. This is an elf, cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard. So those are the 5 things. An elf, a cleric, a rogue, a warrior, and a wizard. And I wonder if you have an elf rogue or an elf warrior or an elf wizard, does that count as 2? I hope so, because we're not going to wind up getting 5 off of the deal. When this support enters the board, fetch the first creature card from your library, kicker 6. Then each cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard card in your hand gains 3 mana. At the beginning of each combat, your first creature gets +3, and gains the cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard subtypes until end of turn. So then this could help you fill your party objectives. So if party is to be broken, this is what it's going to be. And if party is to be broken, it's going to have to include green. So we will have to see what that actually looks like when it's all said and done. We'll see. I'm going to give party a fair shake. I'm going to go build around a party deck as soon as I can and see what I can get. So it's Thieving Skydiver. 7 mana and 7 kicker for a flying 4/3 Merfolk rogue, so she plays for party. Kicker 7, when this creature enters the battlefield, exile an opposing artifact support, and then create a copy of that card into play under your control. If that card is an equipment support, this creature gains bravery. Okay. Functional, good cost. 14 mana for a 4/3 is not bad with flying. Meets some of your party objectives. This is probably going to be one that makes the party list, but you're talking green-blue now? Okay, so that's double colors. I think Tamio is probably going to be the best for it. Her or maybe, well, of course, Sarkin for everything. Thought Gorger, 10 mana, 4/4 black, trample horror. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may have it get +1/+1 for each card in your hand. If you do, discard your hand. When this creature dies or is exiled from your battlefield, draw 3 cards. So this will synergize well with Bone Miser, because when you discard those cards, you're drawing the cards anyways. So I like this. I think this is going to go well in that type of a build. I don't know if it would take the place of, say, some of the other cards that are coming out, but this could be a placeholder for those more powerful masterpieces or mythics. So exciting, good card. Throne of Makindi, 10 mana, 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to loyalty gems, then reinforce the support. When you drain mana from your hand for a kicker effect, convert X gems to your Planeswalker's colors, then this support loses all its reinforcements. X is 3 plus the number of this support's reinforcements. This could be functional. If you're playing a kicker deck, this might have some synergy in with it, and it might be fun for a combo deck. This might be able to go off. We'll have to test and see, but I kind of dig it. Training Grounds, 8 mana, support card, enchantment, 3 shield. At the beginning of your turn, destroy and trigger 2 of your activated gems. Like it. When you drain mana from your hand for a kicker effect, gain 3 mana. This would go into a kicker deck. These two and that other card combined could give you enough mana so that even if you're kicking and draining mana, you're converting and converting and converting, and you're playing those low cost, like Genesis Ultimatum, fills your hand. Next turn, you have these 2 cards on the board. It can go off, and you should be able to trigger a combo. So I'm actually really liking that. I want to see how that does with those 2 cards combined. Trove Warden, 14 mana, Defender, 5/6, Cat Beast, Landfall, exile the first non-spell card that costs 11 or less from your graveyard. When this creature dies, move the first 3 non-spell cards that cost 11 or less from your exile onto play under your control. So that's any cards that go into that. That's cool. That's going to have some broken ability to it. When this creature dies, move the first. So it's only when it dies. Exile the first, that's with Landfall. So you play this, you use Rescue from the Underworld, you get this, kill it, shoot it in the face with your own deal, go bring it back to the board, and that way you get all the landfall effects, and you continue to do that, and this is combo written all over it. I don't know what it is, but I want to figure it out. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to get it done. I like this card. All right. Moving on. Valakut Awakening. We're approaching the end. 7 mana for a flash landforming spell card. Discard all cards without mana from your hand, then draw that many cards plus 1. Landforming, create Valakut Stonefire. This is going to go really, really well in my discard deck. Yeah, discard all cards without mana from your hand, then draw that many cards plus 1. So what's going to happen is this is going to take the place-ish of the Serum Powder. Because that card, I love that card. I barely got it like last week. I literally just pulled it last week and just got Bone Miser and just realized what Bone Miser did. And I should have been playing with that so much. But this card will take its place, and we'll see. It's not going to be as good as Serum Powder, but it's pretty darn good. So I love it. It's going to go into one of my combo decks. Valakut Exploration, 9 mana, support card enchantment with 4 shields. When you match 5 or more red gems, your red mana bonus is increased by 1 for 3 turns. So that's 1, 2, 3, right? So we really get it for 2 of our turns. Landfall red, draw 2 cards. At the end of your turn, you may discard the last red card from your hand. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. I love this card, man. I think it's really utility. I think it's a solid utility card. When you match 5 or more red gems, your red mana bonus is increased by 1 for 3 turns. Yeah, I dig it. I think it's solid. It's a nice little card. Valakut. There's a lot of Valakut. The Molten Pinnacle, 11 mana for a 3 shield land. At the beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to red. Solid. When you convert 3 or more gems to red, deal 3 damage to your opponent. That's solid. It's really good. That's really, really good. Yeah, I love it. Let's see. We got any more? Is that it? Did we finish the pack? Nope, one more. Whisper Steel Dagger. It's an artifact or equipment. 15 mana, 3 shield. Support card, artifact, equipment. It's black. When your first creature attacks, you may pick one of the first 3 creature cards from your opponent's graveyard. Fetch that card. It gains half its mana. While on the board, your first creature gets +4/+0. I like that. That's really good for. It's not a full mana effect, but it's half mana, so I can take stuff out of the graveyard and play with their creatures. You got to have it in enough room in your hand to be able to play it. But I think that's solid. I think that's fun. For newer collections, that would be a good card to help you temporarily boost what you have in play for yourself. So I think that's pretty solid. Okay, that's it. What's your chase card, my friend? What are you looking forward to? We may be getting this set as of tomorrow. I'm recording this right now, trying to get this out to you so you know what to be on the lookout for tomorrow's pull. And if we do that, I'm going to be traveling, and I'm going to try to show you guys everything I'm doing once I get it. But I'm very excited for this. I know this was a lot longer than we intended, but there are several great cards in here. There's a lot of good cards in this set. Nothing that I've seen so far that's just ridiculous outside of Angel of Destiny. Angel of Destiny is a thing. That card is going to be ridiculous. Other than that, there's a few cards that are utilitarian. But there's so many really good cards in here that it rivals Ikoria. Ikoria is still better. I think M21 has some real zingers in it, but this set is just continuing functional, good value. And Octagon, my hat's off to you, man. You're really making some really good sets. Where Magic Paper is screwing things up with Omnath and stuff like that and what they're doing just to sell cards, you guys are keeping this really balanced, really fun, even for newer players. My hat's off to you, man. I really like what I'm seeing from these sets. What's your chase card? Have you joined my party? Join my party. Be one of my rogues or elves or whatever by subscribing, commenting, liking. It really helps the channel out. I ain't making no money for this, man. I'm spending an hour making these videos for you guys and then some, a couple of hours putting them out to help you get the leg up and give some insights on how to maximize your collections and win and do better in the games, because it's a lot of fun, especially if you're winning. So I'm trying to help you out with that. So what do you need help with? How can I help your adventure? How can I help your quest? Comment below, let me know. And as always, I'm really excited about this new set. I hope you are too. And if you saw a card in here that I kind of overlooked or you think is worthwhile or that I'm excited about and maybe not as excited as I should be, comment below. I look forward to your comments, and I will see you in the next one, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, till our next quest. Swords up.